So we are live. It's showtime. Good morning, folks, and welcome to Mark's Business Check-in. I was just telling my friends on TikTok that we go live every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. for all you early risers and people out there on the bus, on the train, and wherever how you're getting to work, or maybe you're working from home today. Today being today being Tuesday, the 20th of January. So we're already well into January now. And as you know, I do this Mark's Business Check-in. I'm Mark Beggs. We cover a lot of stuff based on my years of experience in business, and I'm just putting Instagram live as well. So based on my years of experience in business, and I'm giving you tips. I'm also telling you stuff that didn't work for me, that in case you make the same mistakes, and stuff that did work for me. Yesterday we talked about your big goal of the week. Your one goal of the week. We already talked about before about having your 3 goals of the year. Yesterday was your big goal for this week, something to really push yourself. And we talked about the goal ladder. If you haven't seen it, you can see a copy of it on LinkedIn or on YouTube. And it goes from bronze, silver, gold. So different things you need to do to hit those 3 things. That if you hit them for the whole year, it will change your business. And that is something that works for me. I have in my diary, I have my goal for this week, something that I'm trying to do. I made steps to do it yesterday, and it could be something that you're a bit embarrassed to do. Maybe you're not embarrassed to it. Maybe you will do it. For me, it's something that may or may not work. So, just doing this here. Sorry for disturbing you, folks. Just shared and making sure everybody knows this is all live. So that we all are live all over the place. So if it is something that you're interested in, make sure you definitely do your goal of the week that pushes you towards the 3 goals that if you did it for the whole year, your business will change. But this morning I want to talk about something else that you should write in your diary. And this is not something more than likely you're going to solve this week. And that's the question. The question of the week or the question of the month. And what I mean by that is, it's a question that you're going to ask yourself that if you could answer it, it would just move your business forward so much. And everything I'm talking to you about at the moment is about, especially in January, is about moving your business forward. And usually it's about getting into a habit of doing things that will just project your business and propel it way forward. So the question of the week or the question of the month, what I do is I have a question written down in my diary. And it's a question that I ask myself a few times a day. And that question that I have is, with this morning show that I do every morning from 7:30 for 20 minutes, I want to know, I'm trying to hit a certain number of people every single morning. So I'm trying to have a certain number in my audience. So the question I ask myself every morning, I have my target figure. And the question I ask myself a few times a day, and I have it written there, is how do I get there? And it's the type of question you're asking yourself that you're not going to have a simple answer for. But the reason I have it written down is that maybe I will see something. Maybe I will hear something. Maybe something will happen that will answer that question for me. And that if I did it, would vastly increase the reach of my audience. And what's the answer to that question? I don't know at the moment. And it could be that I just grow organically. It could be just advertising social media, or it could be something else. But I do have that question written down. And I have it written down on purpose that I keep reminding myself that I need to find an answer for it. I need to find an answer for that question to reshape my morning show, to get to more listeners, to get to more people. So it's not just about me getting 1 or 2 more people. I have a serious target written down of the amount of people I want to reach every morning on my show. And the question for me, if anyone saw that question, they'd probably laugh. I say, how are you going to reach that type of number? You're mad. But we don't ask yourself that question. How are you ever going to get there? So your question could be, you're doing £100,000 a year or £200,000 a year, and you want to reach £1 million a year. And if you say that to your friends or family, they may laugh at you. Why do you want the hassle? Why do you want the hassle of hitting £1,000,000? Why do you want the hassle of increasing your turnover by that much? But you have your reasons. It could be to have a better lifestyle. It could be to have a better business. It could be that if you reach that figure, you may sell your business sooner. But the key thing is, if that is your question of the week or the month, make sure you have it written down. Because if you write it down and you keep asking yourself the question, an opportunity will come along that may answer that question for you. So an opportunity may come along that suddenly you see maybe a new piece of business, or you see maybe a company for sale, or you hear somebody's retiring from the business you're in, maybe another plumber, another carpenter, another electrician, another painter, another retail shop, someone you know is retiring. Maybe someone that has a dry cleaners, maybe someone that has another restaurant, but someone's retiring, and you suddenly realize if you take over their business and add their business to yours, you'll actually hit the £1,000,000 mark in the year. But if you don't keep yourself alive and conscious of that question, you will have missed the opportunity. Now, maybe that you're a tradesperson and you want to go from maybe one van to 4 vans and having 4 vans on the road. And again, it's a question that if you said it to other people, they'd laugh at you. Sure, why would you want to increase your number of vans? The extra hassle of insurance and tax and staff and all that type of stuff. Why in God's name would you do that? But you know, if you answer that question and you went to that point, that again, your business was changed. The whole look and feel of your business is going to change. And that's why you're asking yourself that question. But more importantly, that's why you have it written down. That every time you open your diary, have it written down on the first page of your diary. Have it written down somewhere where every time you open your phone or your diary, ideally write it down first. Okay, you can have it on your phone, have your screensaver if you want. Ideally though, write it down. The act of writing it down makes a big difference. But every time you see it, you're asking yourself the question, how do I do that? And again, you could be having a sambo, you could be having a cup of coffee, you could be in someone's house fixing the plumbing, you could be in someone's house painting the walls, doing a bit of carpentry, you could be an accountant and doing a bit of work, and suddenly you hear someone make a comment, and that suddenly rings a bell in your head. Well, if I did that, or if I made that happen for me, I can go from 1 van to 4 vans, or I can go from 200,000 to 1 million, or I can go maybe from 1 retail outlet to 5 retail outlets. Remember, a number of years ago, in 1995, we bought Indigo. It's one of only 2 internet service providers in Ireland. And at that stage, every customer gave us €100 a year for an email account. Right? That's how young the internet was. Every customer gave us €100 a year for an internet account. But they had to ring us up, give us their information, and we had to send out a disc to them. And you put the disc, it was like a CD disc into the machines, because all machines came with CD slots then. You put it into the machine and it would put the software onto your machine to allow you to dial in to Indigo. Now, when you're only making €100 per customer per year, that's a big cost base to have a sales staff, phone lines, people ringing in, sending it out in the post, people putting it in. So the time lag usually for a customer joining from ringing us was most times a week. Even though we post a mail out every evening, someone may not get the mail for 1 or 2 days, and then maybe then it might be another day or 2 before they actually put it into the machine. Sorry, I'm looking to see my grandson going to work. Put it into the machine and make it work. So I said to the techies, I said, we have to stop this. I said, and I asked them the question. I said, how do we stop sending out the discs? And they looked at me and said, well, I don't know. I said, well, we need to stop sending out the discs in the post. We need that when people ring in, and actually I don't want people ringing in. Let people be able to log on to our website and hit a button and let them download all the information themselves, the settings to log into us as an internet service provider. It took about 4.5 months, but I was lucky that my IT manager was very commercial. So they worked on that whole problem for 3 to 4 months, and they came up with a solution that no longer do people have to sign in or wait for it, ring us up, talk to us over the phone, tell us the email address they want, because we had to set it all up, and then send them out the disk. They had to put a disk in that thing, and with that disk was a password and username. They log on and they do all that stuff. That was all gone. The process of doing that was all gone, and now we told them all you have to do is go onto our website, click the button, and that will allow you to download the software onto your machine to dial up and to connect with Indigo. So that was a question that I asked a whole team of people. At that stage, they couldn't see it be done. But when they answered the question, it changed us as a company who we were. Suddenly, we didn't have a big post bill. Suddenly, we could put the salespeople concentrating on business sales rather than €100 a year. Now we're chasing, at that stage, it was ISDN lines, which were worth maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a year. So the type of sale they were now chasing was of higher value. And also, it was business sales, where we're now increasing our bank of customers on a business level. So that was my question to them. How do we get the people that could just click on the internet? But it was more than that. The question I was really trying to answer for myself was, how could I increase the turnover and reduce the cost? That was my real question that I had written down. How do I increase the turnover and make people sign up quicker? So I didn't want to have suddenly do a marketing campaign and have 5,000 people sign up and have to send out 5,000 CDs in the post for people to sign up and have all these inbound calls, and we wouldn't be able to handle 5,000. We handled as many as we could, and people were getting engaged signs, all that type of stuff. So answering that question changed our business, completely changed our business. And it changed the other ISP's business in Ireland because they all went the same way. So that's why it's important to ask yourself that one question, excuse me, this week or this month, that will completely change who you are. And as I said, my question is, how can I reach more listeners? I have a massive, ambitious target of the amount of people I want to listen to the show every day. It's grown every day. It's grown extremely well every day. Last Wednesday, we had over 1,000 people listening to the show. So it's grown really well. It's getting there. But there's a magic number I want, that I really want to let people learn, and from my experience of all the mistakes I made, all the good things I've done, the things that haven't worked out, so that people don't do it. If I can help you not slip on that banana peel when you're running your own business or you're leading from the top, if I can help you not make the mistakes I made, and that you don't make them, and it means you get to that big point of being successful quicker, and your business does better quicker because you don't fall on those banana skins. If I can help with that, I will be happy. I will be extremely happy. All right. So what is your question? Maybe you're a retail shop. Maybe you have one retail outlet or one restaurant or one takeaway, and you're like Apache Pizza or Domino's, and now you want to go to 2, 3, 4, or 5. But maybe the question is, how do I fund that? How do I get the money to do that? Or how do I pay the rent or the fit out costs if I get 1 or 2 new buildings? Maybe this year you want to go from being 1 retail to 5 or 6. Maybe you want to just vastly improve or increase the value of your company, the turnover, and your standing in the business world. Maybe you believe if you have 5 retail shops, your suppliers will give you better deals, and maybe they will, because now you're not buying 1 product, you're buying 5 or 6, and your customer base is bigger. Right? So the real thing is, what is your question? What? And this is not something you're going to know right away. You might have to sit and think all day today and tomorrow to work out what is the one question that have you answered this week or this month or the next 2 months, that if you answer that question, would vastly vastly change who you are as a person, as a business person, as a company owner, as a business owner. What is that one question that if you answered would change all that? And we've seen it all over the place. We've seen many companies who Ryanair decided to go low cost. How could they fly when Tony Ryan started the company, Michael O'Leary wants to close it down because it was losing so much money. But then the question was, what if we became a low-cost carrier? And he went over to the States to look at a low-cost carrier over there and use the same model and brought it back here. And their question was, how could they make themselves profitable on a low-cost model and offer a different service to Aer Lingus going to the same destination, but at a much lower cost? And that was their question. How could they do that? And his answer was, get rid of all the frills. Get rid of that you don't have a seat number. Get rid of that you carry your own bag on. All this type of stuff. So every business, whether you know or not, you do have a question, and you may ask yourself that question once or twice a day, just in an off cuff type of way, where you actually wrote it down and seriously thought about it. I can guarantee you, if you answer it, it would change your business. I know the question I have down for my podcast and my morning show. I know if I found an answer to how do I go to the magic number I want within a certain period of time, it would completely change everything about this program. It won't change the content, but it will change my reach and the amount of people who will look at it per day. As I said, last Wednesday, we hit over 1,000 people, which is fantastic. When we're only going since the 6th of January. Absolutely fantastic. But I know there's business people and there's people on senior management teams and there's people even on teams within companies that if they answer that one question may improve the product that the project they're on this week. Maybe they begin a project to do a work and you have a question that you need answered. But this really works if you're a business owner or you're someone leading a business from the front. Because when you do answer it, I know I keep repeating it, but it's so important. If you do answer it, it will automatically change what your business is all about. So, as I said yesterday, I asked you to put down your goal for the week, something that if you did this week would move you closer to achieving your 3 super gold nuggets that you have on your whiteboard, that if you hit them for the whole year, it would completely change your business. The weekly one is as I showed you a ladder, it's your ladder. The more you do on the weekly one, it gets you closer to the ultimate goal of the yearly 1, 2, and 3. And the question I'm asking you to write down now is the question that what is the one thing that if I did or happened to me or I could do would change my business. So as I said, I have mine written down. If I hit, I ask myself this question a few times a day. How do I hit that amount of listeners in the shortest space of time? How do I do that? And I know the answer will come to me because I know I'm always thinking about it now. So I know the answer is going to come to me. Without a doubt, I know the answer is going to come to me. And it'll come to me soon. Now, it might take 6 months to implement it. Like it's not, it might be something that if I do it right away, it will happen right away. But if I find the answer to the question, then I can start working on that answer. And as I said, it may take 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, but it will move me very fast down the path I want to go. Same way you suddenly answer the question, how are you going to get 4 more vans on the road? You mightn't do it tomorrow morning, but you now have an answer to the question on how you're going to do it. And every time, every waking moment during your business day, you're going to be doing little things during that day to move yourself much closer to that step. If you're a service industry, it may be, what is the one thing in my business that I do now that will completely change the look and feel of my business and take me from 100, 200, 300,000 to the £1 million mark? That you now want to have a £1 million company. Maybe you've been in business for 2, 3, or 4 years or 5 years, and you just want to do be a £1 million company. Maybe you realize the challenges you have when you have a £1 million company and have a £200,000 company is exactly the same, only the scale is different. It's the same amount of time thinking and worrying and trying to solve that problem out. It's the same amount of time. There's no difference, right? It's just the figure is bigger. So if you can figure out on a weekly basis how to pay a wage bill of 300 quid, if you suddenly go into a £1 million company, you will figure out how to pay a wage bill of £3,000 a week. It's just the number is different. It's all relative, but it's the same problem. You'll worry about the problem for the same amount of time. It's just the scale of the figure or the worry is just bigger, but it's all relative, right? It's completely relative. So maybe you decided it's now about time you become a £1 million company. So the question you're going to ask yourself today is, how do I do that? So thanks very much this morning for joining me. As I said, we're on every weekday morning from 7:30 a.m. on LinkedIn, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. And if you missed any of my shows since the 6th of January, all you have to do is go on to YouTube and look at the account is at Mind's Eye Education. At Mind's Eye Education. You'll see it on the end there on the screen. And there's also free videos up there. There's free training videos up there. And do follow me, whatever platform you're on. If you hit the follow button, you'll get notifications when we're on again tomorrow morning and any other mornings, because I know you can't make it every morning, but maybe some mornings you can make it. So if you could hit the follow button, that would be fantastic. And as I said, on YouTube, I have free sales courses. I feel free sales advice. There's other free videos up there. There's a whole lot of free stuff up there that may help you in business and in life. And all you have to do is hit the follow button on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or TikTok. At least then you'll find out every time we are on in the morning times and anything else we put out there, because we will be putting special editions out there, special interviews, that type of stuff for certain people. I have an awful lot of interviews with an awful lot of entrepreneurs on my YouTube as well. So there's an awful lot of interviews out there. From the last one was with Brent Pope. We also have the man who started Yoho Sushi. I interviewed him a few weeks ago. All those interviews, and there's loads of tips and advice in those interviews. They're all free on my YouTube channel at Mind's Eye Education. So do hit the follow button, no matter where you listen to us. And we're going to go off now and say thanks very much, everybody, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram for listeners to this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful for you giving up your time and tuning into us. So we're going to end there and say thank you very much. Have a great day. I hope the day goes really well for you. And the only thing I can say to you today is, what is your question of the day? And if I can be of any help, just email me, markbeggs@gmail.com. Maybe if you want to buy me a coffee, we can discuss how we can move your business forward. Simple as that. Take care of yourself. Have a great